So Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero is just around the corner now. It's coming out October 10th, so a little over a month. And with the game coming out soon, I want to make sure that you're covered and you know everything there is to know about this game in every single edition that's out for sale now. The reason I'm making this video is number one, a lot of people are not quite understanding what this game is. They're thinking it's going to be like Xenoverse or something like Kakarot, and it's really not. This game is Budokai Tenkaichi 4. That's one thing we gotta make clear here. This is not Xenoverse 3, this is nothing like Kakarot, it's a very different game than those two. It's a very different type of game, and it's a continuation of its own series that's been around for years now. So I'm gonna be talking about that. The other thing I'm gonna cover first here is gonna be the different versions of the game. So there's a lot of misunderstanding of what the different versions are, exactly how the game works, and then finally I'm just going to cover the different game modes that this game has, and I really want to give everybody an understanding of what this game actually is. With that said, let's just start with the different versions of the game, and I'm not just going to read them out to you because anybody can do that. I'm going to actually explain to you what to expect in each of these versions and what it is that everything here actually means. So first off, let's cover the different versions of the game and pricing. I'm going to be quoting US prices, by the way. So the first edition that you have is the standard edition. The only thing that it comes with is the base game itself. This is going to run you $70, $69.99. So first thing to mention about the standard edition, if you do pre-order the game, you do get the pre-order bonus. The pre-order bonus is the 6-character early unlock, which is Gogeta and Broly in different forms. So it's really 2 characters with different forms. And then we have a 7th mystery character that we don't know what that is yet. So that is with the base game. As long as you pre-order, you do get these 2 characters and their different transformations, which they're calling it 6 characters. And then you do get a 7th one. Important to notice, all the other versions of this game come with a 3-day early access. The standard version will not come with an early access, which means you will not be able to play the game 3 days earlier like you would be able in the other versions. So the deluxe edition is going to be running you $100, so $99.99. It comes with the base game and the first season pass, which includes the first 3 DLC that are going to be out for this game. We know that this is going to be more playable characters. So there might be additional story mode in the DLCs, but it's not like each of these individual characters will have their own story mode, is our understanding. So the value for this, as far as at least the single player content goes, it's just additional characters. We don't really know if there will be an additional story mission or a couple or 3, one for each DLC, but it doesn't seem like there will be one additional story mission or something like that for every single one of those characters. So to be honest with you, the mileage off of DLCs might be limited for some. The real benefit with this, the real component and gain from the DLC, it's just having the additional roster of characters in single player for you to play versus and whatnot, but the value will likely come from multiplayer. This game is supposed to be heavier on the PvP because we'll get into it, but this is a straight up fighting game. This is not like an RPG. So the characters that you're getting from the DLC, it's not like they're going to have a story or a quest line of their own for you to play through. The value really just is that you now get to use these additional characters in multiplayer and in single player mode in versus battles and so on. As far as the amount of additional characters that are going to be in this DLC, they are saying that in the Season Pass there will be 20 plus new playable characters. So that's what to expect as far as that first Season Pass in those first 3 DLC, 20 plus characters. And then the next bonus of the Deluxe Edition is the Season Pass bonus Summon Shenron. So a lot of people are confused about what this exactly is. And essentially the way it works is as you play the game, you collect the Dragon Balls. And as soon as you've collected all the Dragon Balls, you get to summon Shenron and he grants you a wish. So normally what you can do with that wish is additional items, additional moves, additional characters. There's different things that you can instantly unlock by being able to summon Shenron. So right off the bat, basically what that is you're essentially getting a loot box. Without having to collect the Dragon Balls to summon Shenron, you're just getting one summon of him right off the bat, and he grants you a wish. Now one very important distinction to make here. On the Ultimate Edition, not only do you have access to summoning Shenron, you also have access to Super Shenron. A lot of people are not understanding the difference between just the regular Shenron or the Ultimate Edition one that comes with the Super Shenron. People are thinking there's only like a cosmetic difference. Now we don't quite know exactly for sure yet, but there is a difference and it's probably what you get to summon. From what I've read, and I don't know exactly if this is the case, is that Shenron will only let you get things like items, whereas Super Shenron will let you pick a character right off the bat to unlock. So essentially one is one type of loot box and the other one's going to be another type of loot box. Now, I don't know if you really get to pick from any character whatsoever or if it's from a pool that comes in that loot box, but the point is that the regular Shenron is probably going to limit you to items and the Super Shenron is actually going to let you unlock an actual character. And then once we're done covering the different versions, I will give you my opinion as far as value, if it's really worth it to get this for whichever reason and how I feel about it. And then the last thing, finally, with the Deluxe Edition, you're going to get the Early Access, which you get to play the game 3 days early. So then now we have the Ultimate Edition of the game. The Ultimate Edition is going to run you $110, so $109.99. So the Ultimate Edition, of course, comes with the base game, and it comes with all the exact same bonuses that the Deluxe Edition comes with as well. Now, the difference here is for the additional $10, you're going to be getting what they call the Ultimate Upgrade Pack. That's going to be an additional costume for Goku. There's going to be an additional emote voice set, 2 player card backgrounds, 1 customization item. So I'm also going to read the fine print here to let you know what happens when Goku equips this costume other than just the cosmetic changes. So the costume is a special costume that can be equipped by Son Goku Super. When equipped, one of the blasts will change. So it will change one of his moves, one of the animations. So with the Ultimate Edition, you're also getting the Summon Shenron, and additionally, you're also getting the Summon Super Shenron. And this is what I was talking about, because if you look, it doesn't really explain what the Shenrons even do. In this series of games, Shenron is used to grant you a wish. And as I said before, a lot of people are thinking that the additional $10 on this Shenron is really just a cosmetic change for the dragon. In my understanding from research that I've been doing, and again, we don't know this for sure, but it's likely not the case. It's likely not just a cosmetic change. It is likely going to change the level of wish that you can do. So as opposed to just being able to wish for items and things like that and costumes and whatnot, you're going to be able to just straight up unlock a new character. So it's a more powerful wish, so to speak. And then finally, we have the Premium Edition, which I'm not going to be talking too much about because that's not available on Steam. You're getting everything that's going to be on the Ultimate Edition as well. You're getting some exclusive cards for the trading card game for Dragon Ball. You're getting what they call a diorama, I guess. It's basically some toys, some collectibles for the game, the steel book, and what they're calling the metallic bookmark. So I'm not going to talk a lot about this edition. It looks like you can't just straight up buy it anymore. You have to join some sort of waiting list from what I'm seeing. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want to take a look at some of those bonuses that it comes with. It looks like you can't just straight up buy it right now. You need to join a waiting list. So now let's cover what this game actually is. So I think that the main thing everybody needs to understand going into this game is that it's not Xenoverse and it's not a game like Kakarot. So the game does have a story mode, and you can play the story of about 8 different characters and play through their story, but it's not like Kakarot or Xenoverse in the sense that it's not an RPG. You're just picking the character's story and going through their arc. You're not really like upgrading the level of your character. You're not doing like a self-insert, create your own character like Xenoverse has. This game is not an RPG. As far as I know, there are no RPG elements to it. It is just a straight up fighting game, which is why I believe a huge part of the focus of the game will be multiplayer. I think that's something very important to note that a lot of people are not really understanding or explaining about this game, is that it's going to play very different than something like Kakarot, where it's an actual RPG and you're doing all these different activities and things like that. And it's going to play very differently from Xenoverse, where you got to, do your self-insert type of character, create your own character. The focus of this game is just to be a straight up PvP or PvE fighting game, and that's all there is to it. Again, there will be a story mode, but it's very rigid, probably following just the anime. Like, you get to pick the story for 8 different characters, but it's following their arc in the anime. I think that honestly, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, just looking at the game, how it plays and how it looks, you're not going to be disappointed no matter what. But if you're expecting more depth from the game as far as the RPG elements of it, it's not there. Now, as far as depth of combat, this is a more complex game and more fun, in my opinion, when it comes to the combat. I won't get into every single detail and exactly how the Tenkaichi games played, because they've been around for a long time. You can look them up and see how they play. What I will say is that the consensus for most people who have played all these games is that the Tenkaichi series has a much more robust combat system, it's more technical, and there's more depth to it. So although this game only focuses on the fighting aspect of it, it doesn't have as much story, it doesn't have as much RPG elements, it doesn't have as much customization and a sense of progression per se, it really narrows it down and focuses on the combat. The people who might not enjoy this, in my opinion, are people that maybe are not as big of a fan of fighting games. But then again, I don't think that those people would be buying this game. If you buy any type of Dragon Ball game expecting it to be an RPG or exclusively for the RPG elements, I think there are way better games out there than this, right? So I think that the vast majority of people are there for the fighting aspect, the combat aspect of the game. And if that's what you're going into it, you're going to enjoy the game. And I think that a big focus of this game will be the PvP online. They already announced that there will be a rank system for the PvP, so I think that that's going to be a huge part of the game. Now finally, I'm just going to really quick give you my personal opinion between the Deluxe and the Ultimate Edition and what I'm getting. And I'm going to go with the Deluxe. I am not going to get the Ultimate Edition, and that's just a personal preference. Like, I am not the biggest fan of Goku. I like Vegeta. I personally don't really like Goku's character that much. So the additional cosmetics for me right there, it's not even something that I'm interested in. And then the other thing that I'm really not interested is in the Super Shenron. The reason is because Super Shenron is going to let you unlock a character right off the bat. I don't know if it lets you unlock any character right off the bat. I certainly hope it doesn't, because I wouldn't want that. Or if it's going to be more of a loot box thing, which is what I think it's going to be, where it lets you select or early unlock a character from a randomized, predetermined amount of characters. But in either of those two scenarios, I'm not interested, because I feel like it takes away from the sense of progression. You're basically paying to play the game less, in my opinion. Because during this game, the whole point is you're going to be collecting the Dragon Balls, and as you collect the Dragon Balls, you'll be able to summon different characters. And a big part of the continuation, sense of progression, sense of unlocking, and replayability of the game is going to come from getting all the Dragon Balls and being able to unlock new characters. So if right off the bat you can either already unlock whatever character you want, or you're just getting a free loot box that already lets you select a really good character that makes you not want to play other characters, I think you're basically paying to kill a little bit of the sense of progression. And I don't really like that. It's not like you're getting something that you can't get by just buying the base game. There's nothing really special that you're getting by having this. It's not like you can't unlock it through the game anyway. So to me, it's almost like paying to have less longevity of the game. It's like paying to have less fun, in my opinion. The reason I say that, and I might be wrong, and to each their own, this again is just my personal opinion, there have been games that I bought editions that come with weapons that are just overpowered. That it made it so there was no reason for me to switch to any other weapon at any other point of the game. The loot aspect of the game got killed because of that, the sense of progression, all that got destroyed. I basically paid extra to kill my enjoyment, right? To kill the grind, to kill the replayability. I don't like using or buying anything that's like a time saver that instantly gives me access to like late game content. I don't want that. And that is everything that I think you should know before you consider buying Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero and choosing which edition of the game that you want. If you enjoyed this video, if you thought it was helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more stuff like this in the future, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for your time. Take care.
There aren't many who can fight me as equal.